Oh, gee, your journal. Could you be more queer? I know. She's so young and he's so black. Sleep with as many people as possible.
I see why they named it Cruel Intentions, because this is cruel. It's definitely morally wrong. And guess who loved it as a kid? Me. Maybe because I knew I shouldn't have been watching it. I don't know, but I rewatched Cruel Intentions as an adult and it's pretty awful. Let's get into it. And we're only talking about the first one because them other two are irrelevant. Cruel Intentions is a 1999 teen romantic drama film starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippe, Reese Witherspoon, and Selma Blair. Basically, for anyone who hasn't seen it or may just need a refresher, rich, deranged, and unhinged step-siblings Sebastian, played by Ryan Philippe, and Catherine, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, make a bet for Sebastian to take Annette, played by Reese Witherspoon's virginity after seeing her article in 17 magazine saying that she's going to remain a virgin until marriage. Also, we have Catherine trying to ruin Cecile's life, played by Selma Blair, and make her the town's ho-ho-ho, all because she thinks her boyfriend left her for Cecile. Cecile is completely innocent in all this. She's literally a virgin, goofy, very naive, and kinda has the mindset of a 7-year-old. Somebody help her. Now let's really get into it because it's the incest for me. Because what in the...
You can put it anywhere. Down, boy.
What? I know, they're just step-siblings, but still, it's nasty.
You're nasty.
Do y'all do this with your step-sibling? Let me know in the comments. That's wild. And it gets worse. Okay, now let's get into the bet I mentioned before. Catherine comes up with this plan for Sebastian to seduce Cecile and destroy her reputation by making her the town's hoe.
My feelings were hurt when I'd learned that Court had fallen for someone else. None other than Cecile Caldwell.
But Sebastian thinks getting Cecile is too easy. He says he needs something that's more of a challenge. That's when he shows her the article Annette wrote in 17 magazine about how she's saving herself until marriage. And since Sebastian is a fuckboy, this is nothing new to him. He's known for just having sex with girls and then throwing them away.
This is a challenge.
So the bet is if Sebastian is unable to take Annette's virginity, then he has to give Catherine his car, which is this vintage Jaguar. But if he does take Annette's virginity, then he gets to sleep with Catherine, his stepsister. Gross. The manipulation was real. Cecile was manipulated so many times, but then again, like I said, she was very naive. So in order to get the ball rolling, Catherine decided to teach Cecile how to kiss so that she'll be ready for Ronald, her crush, and it'll be the start of her being the town hoe.
Never even gone to first base with a guy.
Did you ever practiced on one of your girlfriends?
Here is where it gets even more evil because after they kiss, Cecile innocently tells Catherine that her crush, Ronald, who was her music teacher, writes her love letters and that she hides them in her dollhouse. At her big old age, she got a dollhouse. I wonder how often she played with this dollhouse.
Maybe you should try it on your friend Ronald sometime.
Catherine takes this information back to Cecile's mother, and it's the racism for me.
He's been sending her love letters that she hides under her dollhouse.
After Catherine tells her this, Cecile's mom fires Ronald, but she doesn't just fire him. Look at what she said.
I got you off the streets, and this is how you repay me?
Got me off the streets? I live at 59th and Park.
Whatever.
She goes on to say how she can't be racist because her and her husband voted for Colin Powell.
She's so young and he's so black.
So now it gets like really dark. The demonic step-siblings write a love letter posing as Cecile and gives it to Ronald and tells Ronald to write one for her so that it could be a step into him eventually taking her virginity, which Catherine thinks that it would turn Cecile into a ho-ho-ho.
Write her another letter. I have a letter from Ronald.
Catherine and Sebastian call Cecile and tell her about the letter and tells her to write one for Ronald. And them both knowing that Cecile is grounded for giving a black man a chance, they have her sneak out of her house to go to Sebastian's house where he roofies her drink, takes pictures of her and tries to get her naked, and then takes advantage of her. And when Cecile goes to Catherine to tell her about what her brother did, this is what Catherine said to her.
You're becoming a woman. Now that you're on your way, it would be stupid of you to stop. Think of Sebastian as a tutor. Don't you want to make Ronald happy? Practice makes perfect, Cecile. Sleep with as many people as possible.
She totally dismissed her being assaulted, telling her to just keep on doing it. And the fact that Cecile would say no and how she didn't want to, they glamorized no means yes and the victim blaming, making virginity being seen as a joke. And the fact that it didn't take long for Annette to drop them draws for Sebastian is insane, especially since the movie made it known that this was only going on for a few days. So she made a whole article to only give it up to Sebastian in about 3 days? That just don't make no sense. The math ain't mathing. All it took was for Sebastian to go out, buy her a purse, and get her name engraved on it for her to start eating up everything he was serving. And they talking about they in love. When they knew each other for 3 days, she had a whole boyfriend, he was a whole player, and he talking about he in love now. He don't want to be a player no more. It was just too unrealistic. But we're just going to keep on going because it was the homophobia for me. So before she lost her virginity to Sebastian, Sebastian blackmailed Greg by taking a picture of him in bed with this guy, threatening him that if he didn't tell him what horrible things Annette was saying about him, he would out him and tell everyone he was gay.
I mean, can you imagine the humiliation your father's gonna feel when he finds out his pride and joy is a fudge packer?
So since Greg and Annette are childhood friends, it was easy for him to lie to her and convince her that Sebastian is a good guy. And that's one reason, probably the main reason, why she ended up sleeping with Sebastian. But there was also this.
Are you a lesbian?
No?
I didn't mean to offend you, I just picked up on a little bit of that lesbian vibe.
All because of the article Annette wrote in the magazine. Sebastian assumed that the only reason why she could still be a virgin and why she's waiting until marriage is because she's a lesbian. It was also how Catherine called Sebastian queer, all because he has a journal.
Oh, gee, your journal. Could you be more queer?
Catherine also called Annette's boyfriend gay because he hasn't had sex with Annette yet.
She has a boyfriend named Trevor, going out for a year. Trevor understands.
Trevor's a fag.
Which brings me back to saying how the movie thinks virginity is a joke and doesn't take it seriously. But I was eating this all up as a kid, not even knowing what I was watching.
Email is for geeks and pedophiles.
But Sebastian died for love. He saved Annette from getting hit by a car after Ronald accidentally pushed her in the street when he decided to confront Sebastian about the lies Catherine told him and how Sebastian slept with Cecile, when he shouldn't even be talking himself when he just got up out the bed with Catherine. So now Sebastian is dead and he was on the ground just laying there and nobody was trying to help. They were just looking at him. Call 911. What's just looking at him gonna do? At Sebastian's funeral is where Catherine gets exposed. They pass out these notebooks that kind of reminds me of the burn book.
Put it in the book.
But this notebook is actually all of the entries that was inside of Sebastian's journal. So this is Sebastian's journal in notebook form. They done made copies. Inside, it exposes Catherine's bulimia, coke problem, and all of her short but sexual relationships with men. And the bit about Annette and Cecile was in there too. As everyone is reading this notebook, they all turn and look at Catherine with disgust, as if they don't be out there dipping and doing it.
I was dipping it and doing it. Because you were dipping it and doing it too. And everybody deserves the right to dip it and do it.
Like they all innocent. All I could think was, really? Just because she enjoys sex, do a little drugs, and has a little mental health problem is what makes her a social outcast? How about her manipulation and mistreatment to literally everyone around her? How about her pushing other women into sexual compromised positions and not taking their abuse seriously? How about the fact that Catherine was mad that her stepbrother didn't want her anymore because he loved Annette, and how he basically won the bet but didn't want to go through with it because he loved Annette. They were all just some whole weirdos, okay? At least the movie had some really good actors playing these roles because it could have been worse, like 2 and 3. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.
Keep your legs together. This isn't Jamaica.